Quagmire. Let's start out by saying Barakatay Hawa, Bahashem Shai, Bahashem Rakhakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. You just heard the name of this one, Economic Quagmire. And pretty much this lesson comes to the inspiration of a video I'm watching right now, which is the brothers out there in the Houston camp, or are the brothers out there in the Houston camp, the Elder Tazapah and the brother QI, which is Quagmire. And pretty much they're going into, the digital system that coming in place. And pretty much they're talking about the Fed now, the CBDCs and these different digital currencies that are coming, and that they're passing legislation to get on board. And pretty much they were playing a video by Clayton Morris from Redacted, where he spoke about this digital system, and he spoke about England, in talks of bringing something called Bitcoin, which pretty much means everything will be digital. Now, I've thought about this before. I believe I mentioned it, before that, all of this could just be smoke and mirrors, because eventually it is. It could be smoke and mirrors, the CBDC, the Fed now, the Bitcoin, these different digital currencies, and they really don't plan, they probably don't even plan on even using any of those, different digital currencies. The point is to make it digital, because ultimately, the ultimate goal is to get the MOTB, which is the micro C-hip, in everybody's hand or forehead or wherever it goes, whatever part of the body, pretty much an augmentation slash surveillance on people, keeping tabs on people, and actually keeping tabs on their activities, medical records, driving record, economic records, job records, so on and so forth. And pretty much, if you don't comply with the system, then they can shut you out of it. You could have, access to certain packages, so to speak, through this digital currency, mainly the micro C-hip, and you can have different levels of it. I'm speaking earlier about you can have the gold package or palladium package or silver package or your average bronze or whatever, however the system they set up. And then if you have the bronze package, you won't be able to access, every thing that system offers. And the higher you go, and the higher your status, the more options you have to be able to to deal with the system, so to speak, and ultimately, if you don't comply with the system, they'll just block you. They'll just block you just by a stroke of a key. They can turn it off and turn it on. And this is how they want to bring about this compliance. So all of this digital currency talk, could just be a guise, which it is, eventually, because once they get the system in place fully, then they can transition to the MOTB, because the ultimate goal is to get everybody micro C-hipped. This is the, plans of the international banking families, because they want everyone micro C-hipped, because that is their plans, because they understand that once a person gets that, which is the MOTB, that eventually that is a branding that will make the people of the world pretty much eternal slaves to the international banking families. And this is their ultimate goal. Total control, of everything, total control of people's lives, total control of, of your everyday actions, your everyday purchases, and everything of that nature. And if you don't comply, they cut you off, or they limit your interaction with it. What is that, Black Mirror? They brought that on Black Mirror, where if your social credit score was too low, you couldn't even get a job. You couldn't function in the system, you know. Now, I was watching this movie Atlas, which brother said was good. I mean, it's all right. It's got action in it, but it's pretty much uplifting the women. So I really, I mean, I like the action and all that, but I don't really like those movies where they uplift these women like they're gonna save the world type shit. But anyways, in that movie, right, it was AI that went rogue, and pretty much everyone was connected to the system in one way or the other, and if you, let's say for instance, because Jennifer Lopez, was the main character in there, she would get a particular type of coffee in the morning, and then all throughout the movie she wanted a coffee, but then when she would try to get a coffee, they would say, nope, you've exerted something like that, the limits of your caffeine intake for the day, and they wouldn't give it to her. So pretty much that is what they want, total control. Your choco rations or your whatever. This is all part of that digital system, and that's why they want to put this device inside of everybody and have you interact with the system in this fashion, and especially that virtual reality, which is the Metapon, and a lot of people are getting into the Metapon, right now, or into Meta, which are those virtual reality glasses that they wear. They have something Player One, something like that, Real Player One or something like that, which is a movie that came out, and they show you that regular life is boring to people, so they're tired of the monotony of the everyday life. So these, different platforms, so to speak, with virtual reality glasses, give them something exciting to do, something that they can forget about their normal boring life. This is why the scriptures speak about the MOTB, and it speaks about them putting it either in the right hand or anywhere in the body or in the forehead, which the word for forehead is Metapon. And it's no coincidence. Oh, nice catch. It's no coincidence that that devil Michael Zuckerberg named Facebook, he renamed it to Meta, which has something to do with the forehead. As we speak now, this guy Elon Musk, he pretty much has the Neuralink in place, the second transplant in human, which actually was successful. So far they're still monitoring, I'm sure, but so far it went through, and that's what they want. Now, one thing about their movie, they have these particular suits that you get into, and you have to link with the suit and the computer or the generated AI of the computer in there, so that you could become one with the suit. And the way that they did it was through this Neuralink earpiece that you will put in, and the robot, for lack of better words, he would sync directly with the person, and then that's how they would get to function as one unit in this particular spacesuit, so to speak. So you go, for lack of better words, and that's what they want, total control. Because once they got total control, it's over. Once they got total control, it's over. Once the system is in place, they can get whatever they want in place. The scriptures speak about them making these unrighteous decrees. Now, when you go back to the Federal Reserve System, which is the creation of the US dollar, when they first passed the bill, this asshead, Nelson Aldrich, wanted the bill to be called the Aldrich Bill, because he was just a big pig-headed asshole, and Wahlberg told him, nah, you don't want to do that, because everybody knows that you're involved in big business, and it's not going to go. They're not going to, accept it. And sure enough, they shot it down. So what he did, Paul Wahlberg, took the Federal Reserve Act and rehashed it, so to speak, took out certain provisions that they wanted to get in there, because the people that were voting on it said, nope, you got to take this out, you got to take that out, you got to take this out, and when they took all that stuff out, this asshead once again, Nelson Aldrich, said, no, we don't want that, we want all those provisions in there. And he said, yes, he said, but we have to take it out now. We want the bill to get passed. Once the bill gets passed, we can add all this other stuff later, and pretty much that's what it is. Once they get the system in place, once they get the law in place, then they can move it and maneuver it into whatever direction they want. And that's the point. Like scriptures speak about, another beast came up out of the earth having two horns like a lamb, and he said, and he spake as a dragon, which goes back to the word dracon, which is going into their legislation. And that's what they're doing. They're passing this draconian legislation that once it's in place and once they get the necessary provisions and they get everything where it needs to be, that's when they come and lower the boom on the people and pretty much bring in this dystopian / draconian / tyrannical world that they want to bring in. It's all what's the word I'm looking for? It's all mapped out, planned out, for lack of better words, and they're pushing that thing hot and heavy, and this is why they're pushing for digital currencies, digital everything, digital dollars, digital wallet, because they'll have you believe that you have different people competing for the same thing with different denominations or different denominations of digital currencies, just to make it seem like it's not just coming from one place, but it's coming from all those different directions, because it don't matter how they pass it, but when they pass it, then they can merge everything back to where they want it. Because once it gets passed, everything is going to be online. Is one thing. It's one infrastructure. And even if you had 20,000 different digital currencies, eventually they're going to merge everything into one, which would be the micro CHIP. You see, and the technology has existed for a minute now. So that's what they do. That's why it says that no man may buy or sell, say, if he either had the MARK in his hand or in his forehead. Why? Because once they get the system in place, then they can control everything else. Because the main thing is the purchasing. Because in order to eat, in order to drink, you have to be able to purchase. And that's the main thing. Everything else will fall right along with it. The buying of a home, the buying of a car, paying rent, the paying your bills, and going to the bar, whatever the case may be, getting a 6-pack of whatever. It all begins with buying and selling. Once they get that in place, everything else will fall in line as they want it, because this is their plans from the beginning. This is why Aaron Russo, Nick Rockefeller told him, I said, look, we want everybody micro C-hipped, and if they act up, we turn the chip off. And pretty much Alex Jones, who's a shill anyway, by the way, he said total control. Yeah, exactly, total control. That's what they want. They want total control, total access to everyone's privacy. They want to go so far as your thoughts. They don't want anyone to have an independent thought, because the scriptures say that they will be like the Most High. And that's exactly what they want. They want to surveil, keep track of, control, and extend life of everyone on the planet, because they have that, what they call the God complex, and that's what they're trying to do. But they're only going to get so far with it. And once they get this system in place and they start, mandating, people to get micro C-hipped, whether it be in the hand or in the forehead or wherever part of the body, that's when things will be moving a lot faster. And that's why they, the sooner they get this thing up and running, the better. It doesn't matter how they pass it. The thing is just to pass it, to get it in place. Because whether it's the CBDC or the Fed now, or the Bitcoin or this coin or that coin or this, digital currency, it's all going to lead back to the micro C-HIP, which is the MOTB. Bottom line. So yeah, I just inspired to, say a few words on that, watching the brothers, getting down. out of Houston, watching their live. Actually put their link in the description box. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, because YouTube days being some hoes, and messing with the links. You're supposed to be an open platform, freedom speech and all of that, but then they stifle information from going out. But nevertheless, you could go to their brother's page. I'm sure you brothers know where their page is at. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say shalom.